when Hassan left Nuqayla and arrived at Maskan, Imam Hassan saw that there was nobody there to fight. Imam Hassan began to ask the people, he said, where are my army men? He said, in the middle of the night, some spies from Muawiyah came and bribed your men into joining his army. Imam Hassan said, so is this all that I have, a handful of people? We began with 10,000 people, now we have a few hundred. He said, unfortunately, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, the people have left you and they have joined the army of Muawiyah. So now Imam Hassan returned back to Kufa. He ascended the pulpit. And he said, oh people, you asked me to go to war. You said to me, fight Muawiyah. So I declared jihad. I asked you to meet me at an area known as Maskan. We were about to partake in a war with Muawiyah. Then you deceived me. You left me and you joined his army. How do you expect me to fight Muawiyah when you have left me and deserted me? When Muawiyah heard about this and he heard that Imam Hassan's people had left him, this is when he instigated the treaty. Muawiyah gave a blank, this is the Muawiyah's tactic, was he gave Imam Hassan a blank piece of paper with no writing on it. He signed the bottom saying that you stipulate whatever conditions you want, Imam Hassan, we will come to common agreements and we will sign a peace treaty. When Imam Hassan was given this, he started to think, should I sign a peace treaty, should I not sign a peace treaty? Then Imam Hassan says, narrated by Sheikh Mufti Shafi, recorded in Matalib al-Sirul, narrated that Imam Hassan said, I was worried about protecting the Ummah. I looked at the problems that I was faced with, so I made peace with Muawiyah to put an end to war between the Muslims. Imam Hassan said, the reason I made peace with Muawiyah was so that I could make peace between the Muslims and stop the killing of Muslim people. So now Imam Hassan gave certain stipulations within his treaty. Imam Hassan said, number one, I am handing over the authorities to Muawiyah provided that he should act according to the book of Allah and the sunnah of Rasulullah. Number two, Imam Hassan said that if Muawiyah is to die, the authority should be given back to me. If I am not alive, it should be given to my brother Hussein. Then Imam Hassan said that Muawiyah needs to stop cursing my father Ali ibn Abi Talib from the pulpits and the khutbah of the Jummah Salat. Number four, he said, I want you to give security to my Shias. And number five, Imam Hassan said, I am giving you the authority of Khilafat, but I am not giving you the Baytul Mal, the treasury. The treasury remains with me. And I can spend this treasury however I wish. But you have no right within this. Now Muawiyah extended the hand of friendship as he did at Safin with Imam Ali. Imam Ali did not have any choice, so he accepted Muawiyah's hands of friendship, as in the same condition Imam Hassan did not have any choice. So he too extended the hand of friendship with Muawiyah, and this treaty was signed, and these were the five. So now the reason, as we discussed in the beginning, the 4 points that we were going to discuss, was why did Imam Hassan sign a peace treaty as opposed to going to war? Well, he wanted to go to war. He waged war. He did not have enough followers. It's stupid for one man to raise an army against 1,000 when he doesn't have enough supporters. What were the conditions of the treaty? The conditions of the treaty were you have the authority, I am the Khalifa after you, stop cursing my father, give security to the Shias, and I should receive the Baytul Mal, not you. So these are the conditions that Imam Hassan partook with Muawiyah in his peace treaty. Did Muawiyah abide by the peace treaty? And then was Imam Hassan's peace treaty an oath of allegiance? The final 2 points which we will discuss. If Imam Hassan's treaty was allegiance to Muawiyah, if it was, that means Muawiyah is a rightly guided Khalifa. Because obviously if Hassan is giving him his bayat, that means he's a rightly guided Khalifa. So if Muawiyah is a rightly guided Khalifa, why does Sunnis not include Muawiyah as a part of the Khulafa Rashidin? Why do you only have 4 Khulafa Rashidin? Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman and Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Why do you not include Muawiyah within this? If Hassan gave him his allegiance, that means Muawiyah was the rightful successor to the Prophet, which means you should include him in this. Now, bayat and treaty are 2 separate things. It can be argued that if Hassan signed a peace treaty with Muawiyah, that means Hassan gave Muawiyah his bayat, but then when the Prophet signed a peace treaty with the pagans of Makkah at Sulh Hudaybiyah, did the Prophet give his allegiance to the pagans of Makkah? Surely not. I'm sure no Muslim would say that Rasulullah gave his own personal allegiance to the Arab pagans. Therefore, this allegiance was not a bayat, it was not an oath of allegiance, but it was in fact 2 parties coming to reconciling their differences and coming to an agreement. The final point, did Muawiyah abide by the rules? Well, the first point was that Imam Hassan ibn Ali alayhi salam said that I'm giving you the authority on the basis that you rule according to the book of Allah and you rule according to the sunnah of Rasulullah. Did Muawiyah do this? No. He did not abide by the book of Allah. In fact, we have narrations that tell us that Muawiyah used to pay people to change verses in the Quran. He used to pay people to burn hadiths in praise of Imam Ali. He used to pay people to say that this verse that was revealed for Imam Ali was not for Imam Ali. And he made them write in the tafsir that it was in fact for him. An example of the verse in the Quran where Allah says, وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, and the people who establish prayers that your wali is a person who gives zakat whilst being in the state of raku. Muawiyah says that was not Ali, but in fact that was Umar. We have many other narrations, but not to delve so much into them. But Muawiyah did not abide by the first stipulation of the treaty. What was the second stipulation? The second stipulation was, if you are to die, you should give me the reins of government. You are not allowed to elect Yazid as your successor. But on the contrary, Muawiyah did elect Yazid as his successor. And when Muawiyah saw that his end was near, and he saw that he was about to die, and he saw that Imam Hassan was going to succeed him, he told Imam Hassan's wife to poison him. We see a narration in Mustadrak al-Hakim, volume 3, page 176. It says Hassan's wife poisoned him, and in doing so she received a huge amount of money from Muawiyah. We read in Mu'ajim al-Kabir by Tabrani, volume 3, page 119, that Muawiyah told Hassan's wife to poison him. So we have many narrations that tell us that Muawiyah did not abide by the second stipulation of the treaty. He did not allow Hassan to succeed him, but in fact he killed Hassan. As for abiding to the other conditions, the cursing of Ali ibn Abi Talib from the pulpits, that too was not stopped. In fact, the way a Jummah khutbah for 90 years, because of the Bani Umayyah, would be Muawiyah saying to the person, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, may Allah curse Ali ibn Abi Talib. For 90 years, this is how khutbahs of Jummah began. So did Muawiyah abide by the third stipulation of the treaty? No. He continued to curse Ali ibn Abi Talib from the pulpits. And as for stopping the killing of the Shia, as Imam alayhi salam said as his fourth stipulation, was that I want my Shias and the Shia Ali to have security, and I do not want you to kill them. He did not abide by that either. How? Majority of you who have been to Syria and Damascus for ziyarat, you have been to see a person known as Hujr ibn Hadi. Hujr ibn Hadi was a companion of Rasulullah, and he was a companion of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Hujr ibn Hadi, because he was a Shia, was killed by Muawiyah. No other reason. Muawiyah did not hate him. He did not break any rules or do anything that was against the laws of Islam. But the only reason Muawiyah killed Hujr ibn Hadi was because he was a Shia Ali. We see Ammar ibn Yasir, he was killed by Muawiyah in the Battle of Siffin. We see Awais Qarni, he was killed by Muawiyah in the Battle of Siffin. So did Muawiyah abide by the fourth stipulation of the treaty, which was to protect the Shias? No. He continued to oppress the Shias of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. And finally, we see that did Muawiyah abide by the fifth stipulation of the treaty, which was that he should protect the Shias? No. Did he stop cursing Ali? No. Did he rule according to the Sunnah of Rasulullah? No. Did he rule according to the Book of Allah? No. Did he offer the Shia protection? No. So you see that Muawiyah, one, he did offer the hands of friendship to Hassan ibn Ali, but he did not abide by any of the stipulations of the treaty. And in fact, after the treaty had been signed, we'll end it here, is after the treaty was signed, Muawiyah said that he who kills Hassan and brings Hassan's head to me, in reward for that, I will give him 2 million dirhams, and I will give him 2 of my wives, or 1 of my wives, as a reward. And narrations tell us that Imam Hassan was stabbed as well. For all those who have seen Mukhtar Nama, which is known as the Mukhtar narratives, it begins with the incident that one person approached Imam Hassan after the peace treaty had been signed, and that person struck Imam Hassan on his leg with a dagger. Why? Because of Muawiyah. So not only did Muawiyah not abide by the rules of Allah, by the rules of Rasulullah, not only did he oppose Imam Ali and fight him in battle, but he too was a great enemy of Hassan ibn Ali, and he did not abide by the rules of the stipulations of the treaty, and placed a wager on the head of Hassan and said, he who kills Hassan will be able to marry one of my daughters and will receive 2 million dirhams. So to end the lecture, I just want to say that upon Muawiyah realizing that his death was near and that Imam Hassan was about to succeed him, Muawiyah told Junda, the wife of Imam Hassan, to poison him, and in return of poisoning Hassan, Muawiyah said, I will give you my son Yazid. So you can marry Yazid if you kill Hassan. So she came, narrations tell us that Imam Hassan was in prison, she gave him some grapes, Imam Hassan took those grapes, Imam Hassan threw up his liver out of his body, and he achieved martyrdom. When Junda approached Muawiyah and said, now that I have killed Hassan, can you now give me Yazid in marriage? Yazid said, no. If you're a woman who will kill her husband, what are you going to do with Yazid? So there's no way I'm going to give you my son Yazid. So upon the death of Imam Hassan, Muawiyah too had died, and upon his death he made people give the oath of allegiance to Yazid. And as Yazid stood up as Khalifa, now Imam Hussein, he had no other choice but to rise up against Yazid. Hussein remaining silent was bad for Islam. But Hassan fighting was bad for Islam. So you see, both sons of Ali were role models of Ali. For Imam Ali for 25 years remained silent, and in 4 years of his Khilafat he had 3 civil wars. In terms of Ali's silence, Hassan established that. And in terms of Ali's battle, and Ali's power, and Ali's greatness, Imam Hussein proved that. Thank you very much.